The clink of coffee cups, the hiss of an espresso machine, soft conversations wrapped in latte foam and weekday urgency. It was one of those cafes, exposed brick, reclaimed wood, midtown skyline peeking in through tall windows, and a playlist, soft enough to be ignored. Across from each other sat two people, but the silence between them wasn't peaceful. It was packed. Elena Ward sat still, fingers wrapped around a cappuccino she hadn't touched. Not for comfort, but for grounding. Her posture unshaken, her expression smooth as glass. Her blazer was tailored, her curls pulled into a precise bun, and a gold necklace sat at her collarbone, subtle, deliberate. Jason Maris, across from her, stirred his iced coffee like it held the answers. Button-up shirt, sleeves rolled with too much intention, a practiced ease about him that had worn thin. His eyes danced between the window and the woman he was about to unchoose. "Elena," he started, his voice low like it made him more sincere. "I care about you. I always will, but..." The "but" hung like bad wallpaper. "I think we've just grown apart." Eleanor didn't look up. "You got your career, your late nights, your 5-year plans. I admire that, I do, but it's a lot." A pause. "I just want something simpler." There it was. The line he'd rehearsed, simpler, and inside that word lived all the ways he couldn't keep up. Couldn't match her pace, didn't want to. Elena lifted her eyes finally. They didn't flash, they didn't tremble. "Simpler," she echoed. Jason leaned in like she needed a closer dose of his clarity. "Claire's not like that. She doesn't make everything feel like a competition. It's easy with her. Claire, 24, still delighted by conference badges, still confusing ambition with attraction." Elena blinked once. "Thank you," she said softly. Jason tilted his head. "For what?" "For confirming what I already knew." He frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" Elena stood slowly. She didn't raise her voice, didn't throw the cup, didn't ask him to reconsider. She adjusted the hem of her blazer and looked him in the eye. "That your idea of love only works if I play small." Jason opened his mouth. She was already halfway to the door. She paused, hand on the handle. "Here's the thing, Jason," she said without turning. "You don't want simple. You just want someone who makes you feel big without having to grow. I'm not too much. You're not enough." And she stepped out, heels hitting pavement like punctuation. Inside, Jason sat frozen. Outside, Elena walked like nothing had cracked, even though it had, even though it always did. But cracks weren't. Collapses. They were where the light got in. She didn't fall apart. Not really. Not in the way he probably expected. Yes, there were quiet nights where the silence in her apartment echoed louder than her playlists. Yes, she reread the last. Text too many times. Searched for the moment she turned from asset to excess. But she didn't pause for long. Because Elena Ward wasn't built for stillness. 3 weeks after that cafe table split her story in two, she applied for the Orion Women in Leadership program, the one with a 4% acceptance rate, the one people whispered about like legend. She wrote her essay in one night. No rewrites, no edits, just this line. "Leadership isn't about being chosen, it's about choosing to build without permission." 1 month later, a thick envelope arrived. Cream stock, black serif lettering, her name on it like it already belonged. "Congratulations." She stood barefoot by the window, opened it without champagne, smiled without witnesses, and kept going. Elena didn't glow up. She leveled up. The weeks blurred into months, and she gave them structure. Morning runs before sunrise, spreadsheets of weekly goals, books annotated with sticky tabs, blazers with sharper shoulders, silhouettes as strategic as her pitch decks. She didn't network. She moved through rooms like she belonged, before anyone dared question if she did. In meetings, she didn't overshare or over-explain. She didn't soften her tone or shrink her ideas. She presented numbers and nailed outcomes, solutions, not sympathy. While Jason floated from job to job, blaming markets and team chemistry, Elena built a reputation that traveled faster than her resume. Her name landed in inboxes she hadn't reached out to. Podcast invites, keynote requests, LinkedIn DMs from CMOs who loved her last feature in Forbes. She didn't post the article, didn't repost the quote. Her success didn't need to yell. It was already ringing in all the right ears. Jason, meanwhile, was still looking for a place to land. After Claire left, because of course she did, with a "you're not serious about anything" note taped to the fridge, he tried to save face, updated his LinkedIn, posted about pivoting with purpose, wore blazers to Zoom interviews, and pitched ideas that never landed. He still had charm, still nailed small talk, but when it came to follow through, Jason stayed soft at the core. He never turned momentum into results. He called Claire once, just to check in. She didn't answer. 2 years passed. Elena now stood inside a glass-walled boardroom at Hollis & Slate, one of the top-tier firms in the city. A skyline sparkled behind her, her voice wrapped around strategy like a wireframe. Every exec in the room leaned in. "It's not just about market presence," she said. "It's about market memory, not just being seen, being remembered." She didn't need applause, but she got it anyway. And after the meeting, the CEO asked the room, "Where did we find her again?" The truth? They didn't. She made herself impossible to overlook. Across the city, Jason sat on a vinyl chair in a career placement office, waiting for a recruiter to call him back. The lights buzzed. The carpet was tired. The receptionist smiled. Too hard. He told himself he was fine. He was in transition, taking time to reassess, but he knew his resume looked good on paper, but in rooms he didn't deliver, and the market had stopped buying potential. It wanted proof. Eventually, he got a call back, a contract position at a brand strategy firm. Name looked familiar, Hollis & Slate. He almost laughed. Didn't she mention them once? Didn't matter, she probably wasn't even there anymore. He showed up for orientation in his best shirt, hairbrushed, smile ready. The welcome room was polished, corporate modern. A slide deck welcomed new team members. Jason sat mid-row, confident, until the door opened, until she walked in. The room quieted, not out of fear, but because presence speaks louder than volume. Elena Ward walked in, not rushed, not rehearsed, just ready. Tailored navy slacks, a blouse the color of strength, and a tablet in hand like it held blueprints to the future. Jason blinked. He didn't just see her, he felt the air shift. She reached the front of the room, turned to face the group, and spoke like the role fit her, because it did. "Welcome to Hollis & Slate. I'm Elena Ward, Vice President of Strategic Development." Vice President. Jason's throat tightened. Not just here. She was leading. Elena didn't flinch when their eyes met. She didn't pause or flicker. She spoke to the room. Not to him. "We don't believe in titles without accountability. Everyone here earns their seat, including me." She moved through her presentation, measured, sharp, completely unbothered. Colleagues leaned in. They took notes. She wasn't dazzling. She was delivering. When it ended, the room applauded. Elena handed off the mic to HR, walked down the aisle, past Jason's row. He sat stiff, unsure whether to stand or disappear. She looked at him, met his eyes, gave a professional nod, not cold, not cruel, just distant, like he was a colleague, one of many. And then she moved on, heels clicking down polished floors, the same rhythm from that cafe, but this time she wasn't walking away. She was walking forward. Jason didn't sleep that night. Replay after replay of her standing at that front, owning what he once called too much. The same woman he'd left for being too ambitious now outranked him by miles. He told himself maybe it was luck. Maybe she just got promoted fast. Titles didn't mean everything, right? Wrong. The whispers started almost immediately. He heard them. In elevators, in break rooms, in passing. That's Elena Ward, fastest promoted VP we've had. She turned down 2 New York firms to stay here. She's the reason we closed that multi-million-dollar Q4 deal. Doesn't make noise, just delivers. That last line hurt the most because he remembered the late nights she spent talking strategy. The way she always had one eye on the future while he scrolled through takeout menus. She had always been building. He just hadn't been looking. Now everyone else admired what he discarded. Later that week, he passed by the company recognition wall. A framed photo caught his eye. Eleanor at the center, flanked by executives. The title read, Hollis and Slate appoints Elena Ward as Vice President of Strategic Growth. He read it once, then again, then stood there in silence. She hadn't gotten lucky. She had earned every inch of where she stood. They had a one-on-one. HR had scheduled it. He hadn't requested it. He sat across from her desk, folder in his lap, not sure whether to speak or disappear. She didn't rush, didn't smirk. Thanks for coming, Jason, she said. Her voice was calm, polished. All business. You've met your deadlines. Your communication's clear. That's what matters to me. He nodded, awkward. Then said, almost shyly, You're not angry? She gave a half smile. Neutral, not unkind. I'm not here to manage emotions. I'm here to lead outcomes. He swallowed that, and then soft as regret. You're really good at it. She didn't bask in it. She simply said, thank you. She closed her laptop. If you need anything to support your role, go through the standard process. Otherwise, we're done for today. He stood slowly, like the moment deserved more weight. Like maybe he owed her something deeper. At the door, he turned back. I was wrong about you. She looked up. No smile, no revenge, just truth. You were wrong about yourself. The door clicked shut behind him. Outside her office, the building. He buzzed. Analysts with notepads, interns juggling coffee, teams chasing deadlines. Everything in motion, just like her. Inside, Eleanor sat for a moment, still focused, not triumphant, just aligned, because she knew. Her worth had never depended on him seeing it. It had never needed to be proven, only lived. Some victories aren't loud, they just last. The end.